Hi, welcome to Ready Spotlight Go Live. I'm Daya and I am the assistant producer of Blissful Studios. Today, for today's live, we have Azam, head of operation, and we have Cindy. She's an intern with us, so say hi, both of you.
Hello.
Hi.
And for today's live, we are going to talk about social media. So before I start, Cindy, what do you think of the first thing when I say social media, what do you think of?
Cat videos, because it's everywhere online and I really love cats, so that always comes out on my For You page.
And as for you, Azam,
I think more of those viral videos.
viral videos like?
Yeah, so you know what's the current trend or you know what kids do nowadays.
Yeah, okay. So like what Azam said, social media is all about the trend, and not only in Singapore but the whole world, right? And like, I am a Gen Z who is active.
Oh, you
on,
are
I'm a Gen.
you are late millennial. Cindy is a early Gen Z.
I'm quite confused whether I'm a millennial or early Gen Z. So okay, let's just stick to late millennial. So I'm a late millennial who is active on social media. Cindy is a early Gen Z. Are you early Gen Z or late Gen Z?
I'm older Gen Z.
The late ones. Okay, the
No,
late
early lah.
early.
Yes.
Early.
Older,
Early,
yes,
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 Daya,
correct.
your
I'm
maths.
confused. Okay, so Cindy is a early Gen Z who is not active on social media, and Azam is a early millennial who is
I'm not early
active.
millennial. I'm middle millennial.
Same.
Different.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
the gap of a generation, I think is about 10 to 20, 10 to 15 years, right?
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. See, haven't start already want to argue. But anyway, so as I was saying, Azam is also active on social media. So let's just start with Cindy. Girl,
Why
why are you
me?
not active on social media?
The most important reason is actually my mental health, because for social media it's very easy to compare yourself, and I found myself like being really stressed out by what other people are posting online, be it like FOMO, like for example, if my friends are going out without me, or maybe like I see someone, oh my god, she posted a selfie and she looks so good, why can't I look like that, you know? So most of the time it's like a self comparison issue. But now, I mean, the when it impacted me the most was when I was like during my teenage, like secondary school year. So that's why I decided to take a hiatus from Instagram. Actually, I found a lot of happiness going without social media, because first I can focus on my studies. Second of all, like I can go out without having to be like, oh my god, I need to find the perfect picture. Oh my god, my food, like I need to find the perfect framing, and like it really takes away the joy of like experiencing life. And most of the time it's very easy that we forget that Instagram or whatever social media is just a highlight reel of other people's lives. So we tend to compare ourselves with the highlighted versions of like other people's life, but we forget that our life is full and raw and unedited. So sometimes it's not fair lah. It's not a fair comparison. And but like being on social media every day 24/7 is very easy to forget that. So I prefer to stay away from it, because to be honest, I don't feel like I'm losing out, because if I have friends and like they really want to spend time with me, I'll like text them, or like they text me, so it's fine.
So it's your own decision lah, not something that your parents wanted you to do at first, then you followed kind of thing.
Actually, when I was young, it was like mom was like, no social media, I'll ban you, or like cannot use your phone past then she'll confiscate my phone or something. But like I'm sure she did that because she knew the harms of social media. And like when I was very young, I was very like what's that?
Like
Like-
kwai.
No, not quite, but
Opposite of kwai.
no, I was like very impressionable.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So anything I see, anything I encounter, I'll be like, oh my god, I believe. Like, you know, I'm just very naive. So she knew that, and then she was like, no, you cannot. Then I was like, you know, I'm gonna rebel. I'm gonna download IG and all that. But then soon after, I realized that actually it was super bad for me, and I should have listened to my mom anyway. So kids, be aware. Yes.
But have you learned? I mean, you don't use social media much, but you still have your own social media accounts, right? Just that you don't post much of yourself. Am I right to say that?
I have it. I leave it there in case people are asking me like, oh, what's your IG or whatever. But it's nothing special. The last post I had was maybe 2-3 years ago. I don't touch it anymore. It's just there. I don't want to like delete the account because I want to keep the memories there. But yeah.
So in terms of so like over the years, have you learned, because previously you said like you don't know how to differentiate what's real and what's fake, like you were so impressionable and naive. But over the years now that you are older and wiser, have you learned how to like differentiate what is real and what is just people trying to show off their life can be, or like what information is fake, those kind of things? Like, do you learn yourself, or like did your school teach you, or your friends or family teach you those kind of things?
To be honest, it wasn't something that my school or whatever taught me. And until now, I'm not even sure that anything online is entirely 100% true anyways, because everything is edited, right? So now, instead of discerning, I just avoid, because it's in, how to say, like, for me, it's more of a self-confidence thing. And like now I'm very much more like self-aware and self-assured. So I don't rely on outside validation or like, oh, how many likes I get, then equals I'm this pretty or like that attractive, you know? So instead of wondering like, oh, is her face really like that unedited or raw? Did she Photoshop? I just, you know what, you do you. If you want to do that, then like it's your own like decision, and you do you lah. Yeah. So I don't really care like, oh, do you edit your pause out or something? I don't.
How about information like news or those like, how do you differentiate fake news and real news kind of thing?
Okay, to be honest, that is something that I'm still struggling with, because even though news outlet nowadays are claimed to be accurate, even like the Straits Times or whatever, most of them, I'm sure they have some kind of like leaning or like maybe like
The biasness lah,
Yes,
basically.
correct.
It's based on what they actually want to show you.
yes, exactly.
Like the facts may be correct, but how they angle
portray
it.
yes, exactly. So I mean, I make my own decision, my own opinion on maybe as much as I can find out research like about the real facts itself. But I feel like the moment it's out on social media, it's through someone's mind and through someone's word of mouth. It's not something that I witnessed myself, so I can't be sure that it's 100% true. So we just have to see. It's still very hard. I don't think someone can be like, oh, okay, this is 100% true, or unless they see it for themselves. So yeah.
But I think that's something that the public in general, like the general population lacks. Like they don't know how to really differentiate those kind of things. Like, you know, our older generation, they easily believe all those WhatsApp messages, like people forward those kind of things.
Yeah, okay, for me, okay, actually I agree with Cindy lah in terms of like having the news part, that some might be true, some might not be true, some might be fabricated. To me, it's because the news show what people want to believe, and they don't bother showing the truth. Is that correct? You think so?
Mostly they don't bother showing the truth. They are showing the truth, but it's at what angle?
Okay, yeah, correct. It's
Yeah.
a certain angle, an angle where we all want to see and want to believe. Okay, so basically that's why Cindy is not active on social media, and for me, I'm active on social media because I love to share. Back then, I gotta admit, I love sharing, and I love editing my life. Like what Cindy said, like it's not whatever you post is not true. You just want people to see the good side of you and not the bad side of you. And after a while, yeah, I did some like self-healing from social media, but only like a few months back then in poly. And then after that, I came back to social media, and that's when I was like, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna share what I want to share. I'm just gonna show the real me. I'm not gonna edit myself. And yeah, the feelings got better, and like my social media got less toxic. You know, all those like AskFM, you know, like Telonym. I still use Telonym, but now it's less toxic lah, right?
Boomer.
You know? But
Who uses Telonym?
But for me, the reason why I share things, because I just love to share things. Like even in offline, I love talking about my life, right? I love sharing with you guys about what's happening to my life and all like that. So Yeah,
But your
that's
sharing is to public or to friends? I mean,
it's
some people don't mind sharing to friends, but they don't like sharing to public. It's a
okay.
differentiation.
That's the thing. It depends. For me, I like to show myself to the public, like my not my, not
Oh
but
no, nobody was thinking
But-
that. Nobody was
but
thinking that. Okay.
I mean the way I act, like who am I outside in front of people, I like to show it to the public so that you never know, new people actually want to know you better, but they are quite shy to approach you. So what they do is just they watch you first online. I know it's creepy, but
It is.
So is that
Yeah.
about making new friends or about
no, it's
meeting
I
new
don't know,
boys?
it's more not new boys. I mean,
Oh
my god, oops. No. Okay, just basically I love sharing what I do, who I have around me, the people around me, and I just love sharing my life to the public. But in terms of like private life, I don't really show it to the public. What you don't see me posting my private life on my stories or whatever.
So
Only
what,
you
what,
guys
what,
know.
what do you find by private life?
Private, I don't know, maybe like relationship or like basically my daily life. Like you guys know what I do daily life. Like I come to work, then what do I set? The first thing I do in office, what do I do? The very first thing. So only people like you guys who personally know me do those kinds of things, and not the people on social media. So yeah, that's basically my main thing. My main reason of being active online is just to show what I do. That's all. Yeah, and you guys, for as I said, Azam is also active on social media, but he has another purpose of being active. For me, it's just for personal life, and for you,
I mean, I used to be quite active on social media for the personal life, like especially food photos, those kind of thing. But I realized that, people have, not say misconception, but once you have that persona on social media, right, it sticks to you. Like for me, like people keep thinking I'm a food connoisseur because that's why when they keep posting food photos, then like, go to cafes or those. So people think like you are rich, every time eat at cafe. But actually those are just like maybe once a week. Okay, like not even once a week nowadays, like only once a month I go
Yeah.
to cafes, those kind of things. But sometimes I don't post in real time.
yeah,
I like
okay.
keep those photos first, then like, as and when I'm less busy, then
Yeah.
I'll post them, like, those kind of things. But for me, social media, I know there's pros and cons. Partly for me, I have a lot of friends overseas. So that's where social media, personally, for me, I find it to be a good thing because it helps you to keep in touch with your family and friends who are overseas kind of things. And one more is also for business. I mean, nowadays, there are successful business who are offline, no social media presence at all. But that's because they have like their loyal customers who has always been with them over the years. But then if you want to find new customers, you have no choice but to be on social media so that people know you exist, people know who you are, people know what you do. So for me, as someone who is doing Blissful Studios, then a bit no choice lah, I have to post. But for my own personal also, I really toned down quite a bit. Because for some people, like when you keep, I don't know, like, okay, sometimes I see other people keep posting their success. Like it's a fine line between showing off and showing that your achievement and that you've made it kind of thing.
Correct.
Then for myself, like you always sometimes you keep second guessing, like will people think he's showing off, or people when people like say congrats or this, like do they really congratulate you for your success, or they are just like jealous kind of thing? Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's the part where it's a bit hard to, I don't know, walk the fine line lah. So yeah.
I mean, I'm not so sure because I've not tried Instagram.
But for
the
yourself, like
purpose
as
of-
consumers, when you see businesses posting, like what do you feel? Or nowadays, like all those influencers, like their photos or videos are mostly about showing off the products. So what you as a consumer, or what do you feel?
I think there's a difference between, I guess, the type of content creator you are. Like if you put up an influencer front, as in like, oh, you're like, oh, I have a lot of followers, and like, oh, here's my sponsorship, this is my home tour, my daily vlog, and all those type of things, and you make it out there, then certainly your online presence seems to be suddenly a job thing, or like this is what you do, your career. But in terms of personal life, I feel like most of the time if you post your achievements, your friends wouldn't be that mean about it. I feel like most of them would be supportive unless like maybe you say in a very bigoted way or something. But to be honest, like that's the issue, right, with Instagram, like, or whatever social media. You don't really know what other people are thinking, and like sometimes you get so caught up like, oh my god, if I post this, will people be upset? Or like, or I'm just doing this for fun, like, oh, what will other people think about it? Oh, I look a bit fat here, like what if they're gonna think I'm eating or something, right? So that's the issue lah with social media. So and also one thing that I would like to bring up is that with social media and like having like the direct messaging option or like having chats, you said that it would be great for you to keep in contact with your overseas friends or whatever. But another problem that I faced when I was growing up was that actually I have a lot of online friends. I used to have a lot of online friends and a lot of like people I talk to online. But the problem was that I felt like I was, during the era of like, do you remember like the spam accounts? Like people would create personal accounts, like main accounts, and then they'll have spam accounts, which is like their more private life with like less than 100 followers. And like whenever I get accepted into that, I'll be like, oh my gosh, I'm so close to you. But actually, I don't even talk to you in real life. So I feel like social media has the illusion of making you feel like you're close to the person, even though you don't have a personal relationship or connection with the person at all.
But those online friends, like, have you met them in real life before, or it's just purely online relationship? Online friendship.
Some of them, I've never seen them in real life before, but we are like, close on online. Okay, which is fine. But there are some that I know, maybe like my classmate or my schoolmate, that I follow their personal account, but actually, and I know so much about them because they really post very personal things. But actually, right, I know all this about them, but they don't really know anything about me because, last time
They didn't bother like asking you questions like how you're like, how are you, those kind of things lah.
Yeah, if I see them in real life, I might not even say hi. I'll just be like, or maybe I won't even like talk to them, or I can't even have a more than like 5-minute conversation with them because I really don't know them, for example. But I think I know them because, I saw what you post last week. You went there, right? So it's like, that's the weird thing about social media nowadays.
Yeah, that's like sometimes when you meet in real life, like you don't know what to talk. I mean, not say you don't know what to talk, but you find yourself like you already know so much about the other person's life, like what happened in the past month. Like in real life, you don't know what to ask already.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes, that's the weird thing that I find out.
But what do you think about now, like, in the recent pandemic, like, you can't, I mean, due to certain lockdowns or circuit breakers, like, you're unable to meet your real life friends. So do you still feel like social media is a bin, or it can help during this period?
I can see why for many people it will be a great way to share experiences with your close friends and family. And I think that is amazing. But for me, I prefer to like personally text them. Although it might take a bit more effort with like everyone's clashing schedules, I feel like maybe having a time to like personally WhatsApp them or send them a message or maybe even send them snail mail, right, would be a great way to like add a personal touch, like I'm really thinking about you, like, hey Daya, what have you been doing the past few weeks? I haven't seen you like in a while, right? Like instead of like, oh, I saw you went there on your IG, right? Oh, what? Then it's like, it's kind of like superficial. I really want to know what's on your mind like right now, That's
yeah, I get it. Like last time also my clients, like they were so happy when I give them physical birthday cards for their birthdays, kind of, instead of just like wishing on Facebook.
Exactly. I feel like having a personal touch to things really, like, I don't know, is much more important to me, like, and more significant in now everything is online. E-birthday card, e-angpao, all can send, right? So, yeah, that's my take on it.
What about you, Daya? Like, what do you think, like, about during the pandemic, then about keeping in contact with your friends? Like, is online a good thing?
Okay, keeping in contact, I still prefer text like Cindy, but I really prefer calls. Okay, calls over text. But if really, because I feel that, I'm not so sure why, but people nowadays don't reply to text, but they reply to DMs.
Yeah, it's a thing.
Do you think so?
Oh, I get it. It's like sometimes you don't really want to check your WhatsApp, but you can scroll on your IG story, or like you just want to scroll mindlessly, even though it's
yes.
Yeah.
Like, have you guys ever experienced this moment where you text your friend something, then like, oh, okay, she's not replying. Then you go to Twitter and tweet her, hello, can you check your phone and reply me?
Last time, yes.
Yes, I do that a
Last
lot.
time I had a time where like I was talking to someone. I'm not sure who it was, but then like I was talking to someone and then I was talking to them on like Telegram or WhatsApp or something. Last time got Viber. Then we text on that, and then after that we saw something on IG. Then we went there. Then we were having 3 separate conversations in 3 separate social media platforms. It was quite funny.
But that's also the bane, right? Like nowadays, people don't have the patience of waiting
Yeah.
for the person to reply. Like
Yeah,
the moment you don't
yeah,
reply, like you go check on
exactly.
social media.
Yes.
Oh, that person is online on Facebook or Instagram. Like,
Exactly.
why this person never reply me? You know.
I mean, that one is what AI have done to humanity lah. Like before social media came, even like I think even before I was introduced to Facebook, when I text someone, I will like, why this person reply me so
Ow.
late? Sorry, why this person reply me so late? Then later I was trying to like spam call them and stuff like that lah. I think that's normal, but
okay. Yeah.
to me, I think I'm really at the point where I'm really past the, you know, like when I see people, they go out, then they never bring me out. Right? I really
Yes.
past that phase already. Like I
Yes,
really like, I'm
yes.
really at the stage where, you know, I don't care. You want to bring me out, you bring me out. You don't want to bring me out, you don't bring me out.
Yeah,
Then
yeah,
after that,
yeah.
like if you want to judge me, also you judge me. I just talk behind my back. Don't just make sure that I don't find out. That's all. Yeah, I'm really at that stage. I don't know what to say. Like, I mean, yeah,
I think
it's
that's
true.
just part of growing up, lah. I
Yeah.
mean, as you grow up, you know, your circle of friends becomes
Smaller.
Okay, smaller. You get to know more people, but your close circle of friends becomes smaller. Yeah.
Yes. So it's like back then when I was so active on social media, like when I was really prioritizing how people look at me, I used to think that, wow, the more friends I have, the
Yeah,
better.
exactly. Oh my god, road to 1K or something.
Yeah, right,
Like,
yeah.
Just get
Oh
1K
my
and you'll
God,
be famous.
yes. And then tweets, wow, happy
Yeah,
11,000
yeah.
tweets, wow. I don't understand that, but it was a trend last time. And then as I grow up in poly, in uni, I realized that the smaller, my circle of friends became smaller, and I actually did a cleanup on my Instagram. Like my followers, I actually like cut it into half. And right now, like I said, it's less toxic, even though it's still growing a bit. But yeah, I really have that I don't care mindset. Like I don't really, like nothing will affect my mindset now lah. Like I don't really care what people think about me and all. Yeah.
That's good. I mean, the reason why I left was because I'm a huge overthinker. So, I mean, like, what do y'all think about like having certain parental or like age restrictions on social media platforms? Because like right now, I know that there is, but to be honest, it's not really like
It doesn't work
followed.
because like any minor also, I mean, I have like cousins, I mean not say cousins, but nephews and nieces who are like below
Exactly.
13 and they already have accounts on like TikTok, those kind of things.
Exactly. So like I have like family members who are like they're so young. They're like maybe like I don't know, less than 10 years old or something. And they're making TikTok dances and like, oh my gosh, you want to film a TikTok with me? Then I'm like, whoa, girl, chill.
I mean, there's a
Yeah.
competition between them and their friends nowadays, you know, like
Exactly.
who have the more popularity, those kind of things.
Sadly, that is, I don't know, that's going on between like sadly that's the truth lah. But to me, I think the earlier they experience, the better. So that when they grow up, they know what to expect and they know what's the good and the bad ones. Compared to us, like when we reach at this age, then we realize what is good and what is bad.
But at that young age, they don't know how to differentiate between what's really
Exactly.
good or bad. Like someone, an
Exactly.
older person needs to inform
yes.
them or teach them, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, because sometimes they see, like, they take it at face value, like, they don't know what is what. Like, for example, for ourselves at our age, we really know, like, for example, how to differentiate between actual news and fake news, those kind of things. But for them, they might not know how to do that. And, like, on TikTok, all these young kids, they might not know, like, got people stalking them,
Yeah,
all those kind of
exactly.
things. Like,
Oh yeah.
And
Oh my
like
God.
with online censorship, they might come across like weird stuff.
That one, yeah, sadly. My God.
And if you're saying like the younger you expose them, then I don't
Yeah,
think
that
that's
one-
right, girl.
I mean, not in terms of those you know, those stuff that you're thinking about. For me, it's more like what I
you're
would
talking about
rather-
technology, is it?
No, it's more like this toxic society online. Like the more they experience this, I would rather if I have a kid, right, in future, I would rather let him or her experience first. Like whatever that he or she needs to experience, I let them experience first. And when I feel like they need help, that's when I will go in. You understand or not?
But
Okay, I understand what you mean.
Yeah.
Meaning you don't want them to be too sheltered.
Yes.
Yes.
But at the
because-
same time, you cannot just let them, you know, like it's like
Exactly.
swimming in the pool.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
You cannot just let them go. I mean, as babies, they can actually float and swim themselves
Yeah.
lah. But as kids, like you cannot
wait,
just
babies can do that.
yeah, babies can do
Yeah.
that because they have a natural buoyancy.
Yeah.
And because they come out from their mum, you know, the womb,
so it's
it's all
natural.
water, right?
Oh my god!
It's
Babies
natural.
below 1 years old, you leave them in a swimming pool, they can float and swim. Okay, besides the point.
Okay, wait.
yeah, besides the point. So, like, you don't have, like, just put your kid into the deep pool and let them survive on their own. You
No
need to teach
lah.
them the skills of how to
I mean-
swim. Then, even let them experience, then let them experience lah. You understand what I mean,
Yeah,
right?
okay. What I'm saying is, I would like them experience, but at the same time, I will watch them. I don't know. Somehow, I will just watch them from far.
I feel like as a generation or like as a group of like parents or like having a generation of parents, we should pay more attention or like maybe have a common consensus to train your kid how to use social media properly, because I don't feel like it's going very well at all. Like at least from my personal experiences, like the way that I don't know my family or like treated me when like there was this whole like new social media thing wasn't very like good, and like from what I'm seeing for other people, like they're just letting their kids do whatever they want, and then like how do you know when it's too late, you know? Like somebody could really well take advantage of your kid without you realizing, because you're not monitoring them. And when is it too much like for you to step in, like so that they cannot take and like cannot have an experience? So I feel like someone should start, you know, like coaching parents to start like and evolve, because it wasn't a problem last time because there was no social media to even think about.
Yep.
So when like we've been through like maybe a decade of like this whole social media thing, maybe someone should like step up and like really coach the parents to manage their kid online.
But I think parents more of like, they have the expectation that the school will teach their kids how to do it. Like during your secondary school or JC, like did the school like teach you online safety, these kind of things?
Okay, for me personally, and like for most of my friends, it wasn't very effective because most of their content centered around cyberbullying. So it's a more like a moral thing. So like don't cyberbullying because like don't cyberbully, it hurts people, it has really real consequences. It's more focused around like bullying and like the morals surrounding it, not about social media usage and not sharing your personal information. Like of course there's some that's like, oh, don't share like your ATM numbers and all that.
Yeah.
But that's kind of generic and basic. It's not more about like,
They
oh,
never
don't
teach you how to
share-
identify.
Exactly. And like, how do you identify a scam? Nobody told me how to do that. Or how do you know which is true and which is fake? The information wasn't very like accurate, not really accurate, cancel accurate. Just not very detailed and like understandable. At that point in time, I wasn't very interested because they were like, oh, cyberbullying, but like, you know, generally like, why would you cyberbully?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, talking about scams, even educated people also have been scammed by a lot of things like love scam lah, get rich scam lah, whatever scam. So it's not about your level of education. It's about, I don't know, it's how you like can identify all these kind of things. The how you identify how do you say it?
Like red flags.
The red flags, yes, correct. Yeah, so even the scams, like, you know, governments, I mean, not say governments, but, you know, on our leaf landings, like there's posters, like, you know,
yeah.
scams, or on SMS, all these kind of things. Like, I don't know, I mean, I don't think there's enough education outreach effort going on around there lah. So this is where something that we need to improve on, moving on to the future. Yeah, where everything is
Definitely.
all online and digital kind of thing.
Exactly.
Yeah. So how do you think, like, moving forward, like in the next 10, 20 years, social media is going to affect us even more?
You say
For me, I personally think right now social media is really influence the way people live already. Like, so in future it will definitely influence us even more in terms of the way we, other than the way we live, the way we do things and the way we think. Right? Do you think so?
So in a way, you're saying that in the future, it's not that I mean like, it's more of social media and online to have a more control over us.
Yes, definitely. I think it will, but
I'm so scared because it's kind of like the Black Mirror episodes type of thing. Like now, a lot of people have like smart houses, smart fridge, or like they have, I don't know, they have like control over like, I don't know, cryptocurrency or whatever. Like, it's just wait, the internet has such a big, or like technology in general has such a big like part
Data.
exactly of you as a person, and like in terms of like privacy and all that, like how do you know what your, as in how do you know, oh my god, I can't talk.
Actually, there's no privacy lah. Like the moment you use Google and Facebook, like for example, whatever you do online, you search whatever terms or where you go,
It's
even
all
your GPS
connected.
data. Yeah, they know everything about you.
Exactly. So I mean, it's kind of scary. Right now I'm kind of freaked because I've seen all the Black Mirror episodes and I'm kind of scared. Like I think it's already starting to take over our lives. Like with kids, like younger kids. What do the young parents do when your kid is crying? Oh, put the iPad, play Baby Shark for 2 hours. You know? As in like right now, like my cousins, they can't really keep their eyes off the television.
I mean, sometimes I have friends who are before they became parents and after they became parents. Like before they became parents, also they will say like, "Oh, I wouldn't give my kids iPad," but then once they themselves become parents, they still no choice but give because it's just the easiest and fastest way to get the kids' attention.
But it works. It works, you know.
So like, how do we like overcome these kind of things? Like very difficult, right?
I don't think I just think we have to accept it and manage it from now on, so that it doesn't like doesn't change our opinion so much. Like as in we still have our own personal voice and have our sense of identity. Not like, oh, I wear this dress cause I think the people online will love it or something. You know, it's just I like this color, so I'm gonna wear it. You know, freak everyone. You know.
Yeah, don't care about what people think, right?
Yeah. But unfortunately, it's not something very easy for most people.
Yeah, I mean generally, social media have both the good
Pros and
cons. Yeah, it's
Yes.
just about like what Cindy said is how to manage it for yourself and for your own family members or your kids in the future kind of thing. Because having your data everywhere, it's difficult lah, basically.
Well, I mean, it does bring a lot of convenience lah. Like you open your phone, your face can unlock it.
Yeah lah, the SingPass,
your bank
everything,
app,
right? Yeah.
everything is linked. All your passwords are saved. You know, it's very good for in terms of convenience and like online shopping or whatever. But
what are we sacrificing for the sake of
Exactly.
convenience?
exactly,
to me, overall, if you want to have social media, you have to be strong. And if you are like, you are not strong enough, like, okay, like whatever Cindy said, like what Cindy said, she's a overthinker. Social media is not your place lah. Really. That's all I can say. Like, if you want to be, if you are someone who wants to be famous on social media, you have to be strong. If you want to just be active on social media, like just active but not famous or whatever, right? That one is okay for you, but just make sure that just be ready for whatever challenges that you will face. Like, you know, like what Cindy say, you saw your friend going out, but then they never invite you out. Or you saw someone buy something that you want, then you know you cannot buy because you have no money or whatever. You know, something like that, right? That's very toxic. Or like or even better, keyboard warrior. Is that what you call it?
yeah.
Keyboard warrior. That's like still trending up to now. And yeah, those kind of things are that you have to be ready. Whenever you open a social media account, you have to be ready for any of this. And also those who have strict parents, let me just warn you, your parents might be watching you from somewhere. Just that you don't know.
Which is kind of good, to be honest.
Yeah, good. But some of them might not be happy. Like for me, I'm okay if my parents watch me. Okay. But some of my friends, they don't like it when their parents watch them because they feel like social media is their escape, but at the same time they didn't private their account.
Then that's their own fault,
Right?
in a way.
Right?
They don't
So
want to
see it. See it. That's your fault lah.
No, I mean that's why like I say is is yes, social media has the power over us, but it's how we keep the power of ourselves over social media. So with all these settings, all those, you need to learn how to. You can keep parts of your life private, parts of your life public, kind of thing. So, okay, wait, let me rephrase that. Yeah, I mean, yeah lah. So the kids can just block their parents. What? So this is about our own power over social media. I mean, with all this data, sometimes like you might feel that social media has the power over us, but with all the privacy settings and all the regulations that's coming up, we also have power over social media. I mean, the easiest way is like Cindy lah. If you really don't want to go through all this, then just don't have lah. But if you need it, let's say for work, or like you still want to keep in contact with your friends or your overseas friends, like there are ways to make it parts of your life public and still part of your life private. So you just need to know how to do it.
And with like, it's actually super useful to have like an online presence, especially if you're in a design field or like maybe photography or even like something that requires maybe like, I don't know, web design or whatever. Like, it's good to have an online presence because you can just have your portfolio out there with like, you can just send it to your boss or something so that they'll know how well received it is or how like other people like respond to it. So it's a really great way to like have a portfolio in that sense. So like what he said, to have a balance between what you choose to share and what you choose not to share. So for example, for me, maybe I'll do like a personal, like I won't post my personal life on like whatever portfolio account that is. So that's a good thing. And also another thing that you have to look out for is that, all those, when you're signing up for an account for something, then there's terms and conditions, right? Then y'all never read, right? Because y'all just press yes, right? That's how they get you, because you don't read. And there's actually a lot of privacy rules inside that you might not consent to but you just press agree.
But
That's
sometimes
how,
you have no choice but to agree because you want to use the service.
Exactly,
Yeah.
yeah.
So it's a catch-22 situation. And even if you like don't agree or agree already and to the whatever, they always update the terms and conditions
Exactly.
without you needing to agree again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the problem lah. Like, that's why having control over social media is very hard, but it's not impossible.
Correct. So basically, we have to be smart when using social media. Correct? Okay. So wrapping up this whole life, okay, let me just say thank you, Cindy and Azam, for sharing. I really like, you can see me, I was just quiet the whole time. So I was like thinking, like reflecting my own social media presence. Okay. But anyway, so wrapping up. So basically, you are supposed to be smart when using social media. Don't anyhow post, don't anyhow accept yes or whatever. Read all the terms and conditions and be careful when posting your things, okay? And choose what you want to post and don't want to post. And that's all for today's live. Do follow us on Instagram at Blissful Studios SG, our Facebook page at Blissful Studios, and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Blissful Studios. If you guys want to see the fun side of us, we have our TikTok also at Blissful Studios. With that, bring your life to life. Stay blissful.